Hello, everybody. Today's first review is going to be of a movie called Until Dawn, which, unfortunately, is one of those ones that I just wanted to see in theaters, but I ended up missing. But I still took a picture of the poster while I was at the theater. I think I'm going to start doing that more because I really do like taking the photos of the posters at the theater to use as like my video thumbnails because I can get some cool yeah, I can get some cool thumbnails with those, so I like using those for the photos. I know not all of them will have them, but some of them will just be the just a little picture of me at the beginning. But yeah, obviously, if I'm watching them at home and I haven't been to the theater to take a picture of the poster, it's not going to be there, unfortunately. But it is what it is. But I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. Now I know this movie is a video game adaptation, and I do believe in the don't quote me because it's been a while since I've even watched it been played. I've never played it myself, but I do believe in the movie adaptation, the creature was a werewolf at the end of the game. I do believe that, and I think they even like put the little Easter egg page in there in one of the parts of the movie with a werewolf on it. So I'm kind of confused a little bit as to why they went with like the Wendigo character. Now maybe I know that there's other games in that series, so maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but I'm pretty sure that that was the one that Until Dawn was the one with the werewolf. I could be wrong, but anyway. So this movie was still like unique in its own way. Now I know it didn't necessarily follow the game, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, the game was pretty slow paced. So I think maybe they just tried to like make it a little bit faster paced for the movie and like adding the like different games in there or whatever. Yeah, it was just a different take on the story compared to the actual game, which I know sometimes gets a lot of hate, but I mean, anybody going into this not knowing it's based on a game, I mean, it's not a half bad horror movie. Now there wasn't very many jump scares that I was like, oh my god, but it was kind of gave you like an eerie feeling in certain scenes for sure. Um, so we'll go over the cast list. Ella Rubin, who played Clover, Michael Samano, who played Max, Odessa Zion, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who played Nina, Ji Young Yu, who played Megan, Belmont Camilla, who played Abe, uh, Mia Michelle, who played Melanie, Melanie, Melanie. Oh my god! And then Peter Storman or Stormare, sorry, who played Doctor Hill. So this movie was, I guess, Clover was kind of supposed to be going to like clear her head a little bit, I guess, with her friends. And, I guess her sister's been missing for quite some time, so she was going to the spot where her sister went missing, right? And at the very beginning of the movie, we get this girl who's like begging for her life, saying she can't do like this again, can't do it over again, sort of thing. And you're kind of like wondering, like, why would she be saying that? Um, you know what I mean? Like again, like if you're in like a near death situation, normally that's something you would avoid, right? If you were complaining about not having to go through it again. But so yeah, like Clover is on her way with her friends to go to this place where her sister went missing, and of course she ends up asking like this. Now I thought it was a corner store, but apparently it was a gas station. I guess they stopped for gas, as you do, and as they do in horror movies. It seems to be like one of the biggest tropes is stopping somewhere along the way, right? And then getting like a creepy story about so on. Yeah, that what's to come, right? Like kind of like almost like a warning. But nobody ever seems to follow that warning and just turn around and go the other way. They always go towards the danger, which makes no sense. Because, yeah, it's like people in horror movies have like almost zero survival instincts until it gets to the like very end of the movie, and then they're like, okay, now we're going to fight back. Which, I mean, I guess it was kind of like supposed to be closure in this movie a little bit as well. So I can kind of understand why she continued on, because she just wanted to be able to find her sister, right? So I understand that. Like, family is important, but also at the same time, like the whole thing about going towards the danger is never necessarily a good thing, especially when you've been warned, right? So yeah, told by the gas station attendant that I guess a whole bunch of people go missing in Glore Valley, which isn't far away from where they are. So I guess that's where they're going to go check out to see if, um, is it Melina? Melina, maybe it's Melina. Anyway, Melanie or Melina, one of the two. um, yeah, after asking the gas station attendant if if her sister is recognizable, because I guess it was about a year has gone past or whatever since then. Um, so then when they get to the place, there's like this huge storm outside of this. I don't know what it was, like a mini motel or like a bed and breakfast sort of setup type thing, but yeah, I guess maybe it was like a miniature hotel sort of thing, like almost in the middle of nowhere. So already kind of a weird spot to have a hotel, but yeah, and the storm was weird too. It was like they were like in the eye of the storm almost, and it was just like cutting them off from even leaving in a sense. But yeah, obviously they're not going to go back out into that giant storm, right? So they end up going into the house, and I think it was who signs the book? It was Nina that signs the book, first, and then I guess Melanie's name is like on like written in the book a whole bunch of times, which is weird because why would you have to check in that many times, right? If you're already there. So it seems that she's been written on like a missing poster. I think now I don't think they discover that until the second time, do they? Because yeah, I get her name was on the signing book a bunch of times, and then yeah, and then the group gets trapped in some sort of like time loop thing. And it seems like every time they die, they just go back to the original position they were in. And yeah, I don't think they really even realized it. Like they kind of realized it the first time, but then they were wondering like how they were going to make it through if they kept dying, right? And of course, after the first time, they all ended up on the missing posters. And I think that might have been when they discovered that Melanie was there as well. I can't quite remember whether it was the first time they entered the house that they realized, or whether it was after they died the first time. But yeah, now they're all on the missing posters. So every time the group dies, the hourglass flips and puts them in like a new scenario. So every time was different. So the first time they had like the psycho killer, and then I think the second time was it the witch the second time around? And then there was one time with like the water, when they drank it, they all exploded. And then they had like yeah, I think the witch was when one of them got like infected in the house or whatever. And then of course there's like a time jump too, where they're like totally forget every night that had happened, which is crazy. So the group ends up finding a tape about one of Dr. Hill's patients turning into the Wendigo. So I guess, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like he was like running this weird game thing for them all, and he knew that they were all going to die, even before, like when he was talking to them at the gas station. Now Dr. Hill was just a very strange person, and I don't know why he would ever be trying to run like experiments on this. Like, so, yeah, it was like playing with people's like psyche, I guess, in a sense. And I guess whoever was the most, like, I don't know whether he was playing on like Clover's psyche, right? Like she was the main patient, and I guess like whatever her fears were what were playing out, because I guess she had tried to take her life a couple of times. So yeah, very weird that it was playing like that sort of, like he was playing that sort of game with somebody. And then of course the more times, I guess 11 days was the record before somebody went like completely insane and transformed into that Wendigo creature. So again, then they find out that they've been stuck in this loop for 13 nights, and of course they open the window and there's like all these new houses outside and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? And some of the group doesn't even remember like some of those nights. And of course I guess Abe was the one that recorded a lot of it. So he goes back through like all the recordings, and there's like a whole bunch of different stuff that had happened to them, and they've only got to make it till the timer runs out, and then it'll be dawn again. That's the whole point of the game, like make it till the morning, right? But they can't seem to ever do that. And they had opened this one door to like this long tunnel before, but they had decided not to go down it because they weren't sure what was down there, if it was going to be worse than what they were already facing or what. So they decided not to do that, not to take that route, which was probably smart at the time, because yeah, I guess they were trying to find a way within, you know, what they had already dealt with in order to for all of them to survive. So eventually Dr. Hall tells Clover that this whole loop is based on her fears and insecurities. So yeah, he was kind of like messing with her in a sense, and that's just not right to do with anybody, I don't think, because, you know, you're not only putting her at danger, but you're also putting her friends at danger because they were there to help her, and then she unknowingly is just putting them in a whole bunch of danger by having them even with her. So the group does make it to morning on night 13, and Clover does end up killing Dr. Hall. Now, I don't know if Dr. Hall would... Now, if he dies and the group lives, does that mean that he is now stuck? Like, see, that's the part I don't understand. Like, because he dies, but the group ends up making it out that night. So I'm really kind of confused. And the front of the story was like all this different stuff, and then in the end of it almost seemed like a zombie horror film in a sense. I'm not mad that they kind of took that turn, but it just seemed like all of the it was just like this one set of creatures after them on night 13. Now maybe that was because they'd survived so long, that everything was just sort of almost turning the same in a sense. But I mean, I think they were facing almost everything at that point, right? Because it was just getting worse and worse every night. So, like, the Psycho Killer was after them. I imagine the witch was probably there in some sort of capacity. Obviously, like, all these weird creatures that were after them. You could see, like, a whole bunch of different things walking up to them in the house. So, yeah, I'm assuming that tunnel was just, like, all those creatures, right? That's what I'm guessing anyway. And man, it was almost like watching The Descent again in some of those scenes where she's going through the tunnels, and she ends up having to kill her sister because, of course, her sister is too far gone at this point, right? Like, you're not going to be able to bring her back no matter what. Like, her sister is just like some sort of crazy creature as well, too. So, kind of unfortunate that's the way she ended up finding her. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. Like, she waited way too long to go after her to find her, right? I think after like probably like a few days of somebody missing, I would have been like, time to like, she said she was going to be back in this amount of time. I think it's time to go looking for her, right? Like, I would be quite concerned if one of my family members went missing for more than like a few days. Unless they were like leaving like the country or the state, right, for like a long period of time. But yeah, if it was just like an argument like they showed in the little flashback scene, and then Clover just deciding to stay behind and her sister going on her own way, you would think that they would have like some sort of contact, and then if the contact was cut off for a couple days, I would be like, okay, something's not right. Most people would think that way anyway. But yeah, it was a unique horror film for sure. Maybe not quite the same as the game, but I think they still did a good job with this movie. Like, I gave it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, I wasn't like bored during the movie, that's for sure. It was definitely a unique take on the game, and I think like if they made a game, like another game, like an Until Dawn game like this, I don't think anybody would be mad about it, right? Like, you have to kind of survive in like a time loop. Like, that's a cool idea for a horror movie, I think. Now, again, it wasn't the scariest like movie. Now, again, there was quite a bit of gore though, so I'm not bothered by that. Like, I'm a fan of the gory slasher films and stuff like that. So that's yeah, this was definitely a definitely a gory movie for sure in certain parts, but I mean, it was just cool to watch them like slowly like build and like become less fearful of what they were facing as the movie went on, and then kind of like facing it head on at the very end was definitely a unique take, because you don't see that very often in horror movies where like they're fighting back. Usually it's like, you know, basically like it comes down to the last person and then one of them survives, right? But this was kind of cool because the group fought back after 13 nights of being stuck there, and then just they all ended up living, so that was kind of cool. Now, I think two of them tried to escape at one point, and like this giant creature comes out of like the forest and like pushes them back in, basically. Because yeah, I think if they had tried to face that, they would have maybe died for real. Like, because yeah, I'm not sure driving back out of that zone into the storm might have ended up killing them for real. So I think that creature was trying to like warn them that they had to survive within the confines of like the storm. That's just a theory, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, maybe that was just something they potentially could face down the road, and they just never did. It would have been cool to see that for sure, like that giant creature up close. But yeah, a lot of cool visual effects in this movie for sure. Um, I don't really think I can say much about the soundtrack because I don't really know like if there was. I can't remember any like standout songs in this movie. But yeah, just a fun horror, like horror action movie almost in a sense. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything I can, and I will see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.